Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Suragate Saragi, and as you can see, I'm sitting in underground, my office, and today I will present my analysis on how fuel price increasing affect on urban commuter preferences, especially in Indonesia. I will using macroeconomic theory and real-world case studies, and this presentation is to complete my mid-exam in business landscape analysis study. Okay, yeah, this is my background. This is the background why I'm interested to take this topic. The first, fuel price increases significantly affect the urban commuters in Indonesia, especially vulnerable groups. The second one, this phenomenon is increasingly relevant amid rapid urbanization and the public's reliance on private motorized vehicles. On the other hand, public transportation in Indonesia still faces some challenges in terms of capacity, comfortness, and affordability. So, these studies use macroeconomic theory, international case studies, and local data to analyze how behavioral response and the policy implications. Yeah, this is the theoretical and neutral basis from a microeconomic side that I'm using on this essay or presentation. The first one is about supply and demand in transportation. In microeconomics, supply and demand determine the quantity of goods or services exchanged in market. The demand means refers to how many trips commuters are willing to make at a given fuel price or fare. Then supply means refers to availability of transportation services, for example buses, trains, and ride hailing. When fuel price, demand for private vehicle use typically decreases, but while demand for public transport may increase. The second theory tells about elasticity of demand and supply. Elasticity measures how sensitive demand or supply is to changes in price. Elastic demand, a small price increase leads to a large drop in usage. Inelastic demand use means usage remains relatively stable despite price changes. Transportation demand is often inelastic in the short term or in the short run, for example commuting to work, but more elastic in the long term as people adjust habit or switch the transportation modes they use. The third theory tells about cost theory and producer behavior. Transportation providers, for example bus companies, face rising operational costs when fuel price increases. So, this may lead to higher fares or reduced services quality. In the long run, providers may invest in fuel-efficient vehicles or alternative energy sources to reduce the cost. The fourth theory I use about transportation market structure. Market structure affects how price and services are set. There are some market structures. First, oligopoly means a few large providers dominate. For example, MRT, KRL, so they can adjust price in coordination. The second structure, monopolistic competition. Many providers offer slightly different services, for example, ride-hailing application. The third structure, perfect competitions, means many small providers compete, leading to slower price adjustment. The fifth theoretical is about government intervention. Government intervene to stabilize the fuel prices and ensure access to transportation. There are some kind of government intervention, such as subsidies, so the fuel price keep low but strain the budget. The second one, taxes, discourage excessive fuel use and promote sustainability. The third one, price selling, so the government keep the price selling to prevent sudden spikes but may distort the market. Okay, so this is the real world case studies that I'm taking from some source. In the United States, higher fuel price reduce traffic and increase the carpooling. In Switzerland, it's effective to shift to fuel efficient vehicles. In Pakistan, it's really interesting. The students reduce the travel, women and low income got the most affected of the fuel price increasing. And in the global world, I mean, there is a little bit uh, interesting. The more walking and public transport using increasing because of the fuel price increasing. And in Indonesian, high urbanization and reliance on private vehicles got impacted. Public transport faces capacity and access issues, and fuel price hike lead to reduced travel, carpooling, and mode shifts. And since 2014, hike reduced private vehicle about 10% before 2014. Okay, from the trend or the issues that we get from in global and in Indonesian context, I use analysis based on microeconomic theory in elasticity. Short term inelastic, but in the long term, it's elastic. The meaning of this point, in the short term, commuters cannot easily change their travel habits, making demand inelastic. Over time, as alternatives become available or habit shift, demand becomes more elastic. This is explaining why fuel price hikes may not immediately reduce travel, but gradually it leads to changes in mode choice. Second, substitution effect. Shift to public transport or walking. My explanation about it. As fuel price rise, commuters seek cheaper alternatives. So this leads to a shift from private vehicles to public transport or cycling or even walking. The substitution effect is stronger among low income groups and for non-essential trips. Budget constraints reduce discretionary spending. My explanation: higher fuel costs force households to reallocate their budgets. Spending on transportation may come at the expense of food, healthcare, or even education. So, this trade-off is especially critical for vulnerable groups. Game theory, strategic mode choice. Commuters make decisions based on others' behavior. For example, if many switch to public transport, road congestion may decrease, making driving more attractive again. Policymakers can influence this dynamic through pricing and infrastructure. Externalities justify government intervention. Private vehicle use creates negative externalities like pollution and congestions. Fuel price increase can help internalize this cost. But government policies, for example, carbon taxes, subsidies for clean transport, are needed to ensure fairness and effectiveness. Behavioral biases, habit, framing, loss aversion. It means not all commuters respond rationally to price changes. Habit, perceived confidence, and psychologist bias can delay behavioral shifts. Framing fuel price hikes as environmental or national security measures may improve public acceptance. Impact on vulnerable groups. What does it mean? It means like students, informal workers, and women are disproportionately affected. Rising costs can limit access to education, employment, and mobility. Policies must address these disparities to ensure transportation equity to any group, any gender, or any social economic level. This is the social and economic impacts for students. Risk of dropout due to transportation costs, low-income workers, trade-offs with food and health, women, reduced mobility. It makes risk of inequality in access to education and jobs for sure. So this is the policy recommendations from my point of view. First one, cross subsidies and transport assistance. Redirect fuel subsidies to support public transportation and provide direct financial aid to vulnerable groups such as students, informal workers, and low-income households. This ensures that those most affected by fuel price hike can still access affordable mobility. Invest in public transport infrastructure. Improve the capacity, comfortness, and reliability of public transportation systems. Investment should focus on expanding networks, upgrading vehicles, and improving station facilities to make public transportation a viable alternative to private vehicles. Incentive for green vehicles and cycling. Provide tax breaks and subsidies for electric vehicles and promote cycling through safe bike lanes for sure and public bike sharing programs will help reduce dependency on fossil fuels and support environmental sustainability. Promote flexible work and learning. Encourage remote work and hybrid learning models to reduce daily commuting needs. This is especially effective during periods of fuel price volatility and can ease pressure on transport systems. Coordinate central local policies. Government should ensure the national and regional align their transportation policies, including fare regulations, infrastructure planning, and subsidy distribution. Coordination avoid policy gaps and can improve implementation efficiency. Public education and transparency is my last recommendation. Means launch awareness campaign to educate the public on energy efficiency, sustainability transportation options, and the rationale behind fuel pricing policies. Transparency will build trust and encourage behavioral changes. Yeah, from the case study, from my analysis, and from my recommendation, there is some conclusion that I got about the effect of fuel price increasing. The fuel price impact means rising fuel prices are not just economic fluctuations, they reshape how people move in cities. Vulnerable groups like students, informal workers, and women are disproportionately affected due to limited financial flexibility and access. Microeconomic explanation. Several macroeconomic theories help us understand commuter behavior. First one, marginal utilities. As fuel costs rise, The satisfaction from each trip decreased, especially for non-essential travel. Budget constraints. Households must reallocate spending, often sacrificing other needs like food or education. Substitution effect and elasticity. Over time, commuters shift to cheaper alternatives such as public transportation, walking, or cycling. In externality side, increased fuel use leads to pollution and congestion, which justify the government intervention. Behavioral economics, habits, convenience, and psychologist bias like loss aversion influence how people respond to fuel price changes. Policy directions. Effective policies, must be grounded in macroeconomic principles. Government should invest in public transport, offer targeted subsidies, and use behavioral nudges to influence commuter choice. Equity and sustainability goals. The policies must ensure transportation equity. No group should be left behind due to rising fuel costs. Long-term sustainability should be a core objective, promoting clean and inclusive mobility. The last one, collaborative effort. What it means? It means building a resilient urban transportation system requires collaboration between government, civil society, and the private sector will ensure that the system can adapt to future energy and economic challenges in the future. Okay, that's all my presentation. Thank you for attention. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer, and you can put your question in the column commenter and we can discuss further. Thank you and see you.